Hello, this is my presentation on GPS. So, who made it? It was made by both the USA and the USSR. The USA was first, though. More specifically, the US Navy developed it, and Ronald Reagan gave it away. NASA and Space Force manage it now. USSR is now It was at first managed by the Russian Space Agency, but now it's managed by Roscosmos. It's a private slash state-owned company, and the Red Army also were in control of it. When slash where? Well, in the 1960s, the USA discovered the Doppler effect, which I'll go into depth later. And in 1978, they finished their whole constellation, and in 1990, it was given away as public access. Russia, 1982, GLONASS launched, which was like the start, which is what they call their GPS. It was the start of it. In 1995, they finished their own constellation. What is it, and what led up to it? So, first off, Sputnik was launched, so USA responded with their own satellites. USA did some research with their satellites, and they discovered the Doppler effect. The Navy was after a better form of navigation, and so they used the Doppler effect, which was basically just using a couple of satellites around to bounce signals off to figure out where you were on the ground. This is actually a little visual of the constellation right here. So the US made the constellation so they can navigate. USSR made their own constellation later, and then Reagan just ended up giving it away to the people. Media coverage. Media didn't really care all too much about the GPS because it was more of a military thing at the time. Not much use for the civilians. They did, of course, it being during the space race, care a whole bunch though about the satellites, and they loved to watch a rocket launch and cover it. Then Korean Airlines flight 007. It was meant to fly from Anchorage to Japan, but they ended up crossing over this Russian peninsula, and they were intercepted and shot down. Ronald Reagan called it an avoidable tragedy, and it could have easily been prevented if GPS was made public, and the pilot would have had better navigation using GPS. And so after this, Reagan made a push and issued an executive order to make GPS public so that airlines could use it. World events at the time. Cold War was still burning strong at the time, the GPS being made, so both the USA and the USSR were after technological advances, and GPS was a pretty big one. It was, of course, during the space race, so just more fuel on why they wanted to make GPS, more satellites and such. And Korean Airlines Flight 007 at the time. It's also another world event. It was made possible by heavy lift rockets, which allowed for larger, more complex satellites to make GPS better. It was, of course, made possible by all the satellites. Ground control stations, which just made the GPS signal more precise, and the Doppler effect, which made all of this possible by just bouncing off satellites. Future inventions. So GPS has helped with the development of self-driving cars, Doppler weather reports, which are basically just more accurate weather reports, tracking, Pokemon Go, geocaching, other types of games like that, and smartwatch health monitoring. Alright, that's all. Thank you.